Hey there, Leo. Welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I am Nicole. Leo, this is going to be your August 2024 message. This will be for your sun, your moon, your rising. Cross-watcher, if that's you, welcome. Discern the messages, flip the roles as it applies. If it doesn't fit, don't force it to fit. If you're here, you should know how this works. Further to that, I want to say thank you to everybody who's liked, shared, subscribed, commented, for the personal donations that some of you have made. Thank you so very much for that. Those that have booked personal readings, thank you, thank you, thank you. And what else? Yeah, I don't know. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the ways you support me. As we can see, I am not on in my normal space. I haven't been this week. Won't be next week either. But then the following week, I'll be back in my zone, right? My normalcy. But it's been a nice break. I'm doing things a little differently. Got a lot of things going on. So trying to navigate it, right? So maybe, I don't know, Leo, maybe you're trying to navigate some stuff, right? I have these conversations with you guys, or whatever, 1:11 on the clock, and it's usually for a reason. So I don't know. It is what it is, Leo. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's, I'm going to say this to you. This is the second time I've heard this from Spirit now. I feel like this reading is going to just be for the next 2 weeks. I really do. I don't know. I've noticed with some of the reads, I've gotten half of the zodiacs out for August already, which is early for me. And some of them seem, I said this in one of the other videos, some of this seems to be shorter for some of you. I just think it's because you're going to go through some changes. The energies are going to shift at different times for everybody. And that's when we need to readdress things. So as I told a couple of the other signs, it's my goal to get out a second round of readings for all signs in August. So we'll see. Time constraint wise, I am a little bit on a strict schedule this month, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Anyhow, Leo, let's get straight to it here. Spirit for Leo, what do they need to know? Warrior in conclusion. I'm like 2 weeks, Leo. Something is going to close out here, and I'm going to tell you, I think you're coming upon a point where you're going to have to make a very strong decision on something. You may not be super... It's weird. You may not be super excited to have to make this decision, but yet you're going to be relieved when you do. I don't know. We'll see. Because I think... Okay. I feel, I know, I see... Leo, you're finding a way forward out of something. Spirit is also giving me the term relapse. Now, we can relapse on a lot of things. It doesn't have to be substances. It can be a train of thought. It could be an exercise program, right? It could be lots of things. And this is what I mean. So it's like, it's time to get back on the saddle. 3:13 on the clock, Leo. It's time to get back on the saddle again. Now I can see why they're giving me the 2-week marker. So let's say, like new year, new me, right? Start an exercise program. We get 2 weeks into it. We're like, I ain't got time for this shit, right? We start that whole thing all over again. Leo, this kind of feels like that for me, for you, right? This is kind of the way that Spirit is acknowledging this. I think this message is going to be pretty simple for the most part for you guys. You make promises and vows to yourself. Like if there's a period of like you've not been eating the best and you're not feeling your best, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna indulge in a piece of cheesecake today, right? Like after starting a program or trying to change the way you do things or what you're eating or putting into your body, and then all of a sudden it's like, give me 1 second, guys. Never fails. 4:14. But you kind of slip up and have cheesecake, and I don't know, maybe mom sent a cheesecake home with you after y'all got together for some reason, and you've got half the cheesecake there, and you're like, well, I'll just have a small piece, and then it tastes so good, and you have another piece, and the next thing you know, your whole lifestyle change, weight loss program, whatever you were working on, has just gone to shit in a handbasket, right? Like it's done, and you feel guilty, and there's some regret and some remorse to this. I feel like, Leo, you may already be a week into this at this point, whenever you view this. I don't know why I want to say that either, but I do. Spirit, of course. And it's just like, keep it simple, like getting back into whatever goal you've had for yourself or whatever you've had in mind. It's like, I almost feel like there's just a little bit of something that is like not making you feel good, whether it's about yourself or other people or situations. And you're kind of, you know, maybe feeling a little disappointed in yourself for certain things, and it's time to kind of just reevaluate. And Mercury retrograde, right? Like, it starts today's Friday, that's Sunday that it starts. It's a period of reevaluation, right? Getting clarity, you know, and even if you said, you know, like you slip up, understanding why you did. What was it about that? What was triggering? Again, doesn't matter what the topic is for you specifically. It'll be different for everybody. But understanding why we do the things that we do, Leo. Like, what was it? Was it trying to, like, rectify a feeling within you? Were you trying to relive an emotion that came with that, or a time frame that came with that? So I would say to you, some of you, Spirit's bringing up the year 2016. They're, you know, like, look back to that year. What was going on? There it is. Restrictions, obedience, forbidden, and then success. Leo, I think this is going to be the shortest, most simple message for you guys, as it's, I'm going to say, again, next 2 weeks, change. This house of belonging, it's a 5, right? It's change. It's indicative of change. And I do think that this is a change that you are taking on yourself. I don't think there's necessarily a tower moment. One easy thing I can say is years and years ago, I was 200 pounds, right? And I remember cutting out fried foods. That was one of the first things I cut out. I quit doing French fries. I quit doing all that shit. And I went 6 months before I ever touched a fried food again. And when I thought, oh, I'll just stop and get a Wendy's French fry, right? And when I did, and I ate it, I felt like shit. Like, not just because, like, mentally I felt bad, but physically, like, my gut's like, oh gosh, you know, what are you feeding me? What are we doing here? And it wasn't a lack of self-discipline, just thinking, you know, I've really done a good job all this time. Is one small fry gonna hurt me? And you feel, your body feels off. You feel off. It's like, this isn't for me anymore. This is something I've cut out. There's a need to be very self-disciplined with this obedience and forbidden, because that's where you're going to find your successful conclusions in the long run. But it's, I think the point to this reading, and it's, again, maybe the shortest reading I'm going to do, is understanding why we go back into things that we do, you know. And I'm going to, actually, I want to clarify that, so maybe it'll help bring you guys some insight. You know, maybe this is going to moms and saying, you know, if she did make that cheesecake, I don't know why I'm using food as the example, but here we are. I think it's the thing that we can all understand, because we all need food, right? It's a thing. You know, we get together, we have food. We don't get together, we have food. But it's like going over there knowing she's going to make a cheesecake or a lasagna or whatever, and go, listen, like, if that was your thing growing up and she wants to make you happy with that, it's like, no. Or even for yourself, if there's something that you used to buy and keep at home for yourself, going, you know what, I'm just going to pass that aisle up at the grocery store. Like, you know, I don't know why I'm going to put it to you that way. I feel like this is I don't want to say it's a dumb reading. It's not a dumb reading. There's no dumb reading, because somebody needs to hear this, but it's very simple. But it may not be so simple when we're the one trying to implement those changes and then stick to those, right? Spirit, they needed additional guidance. You also have to pay attention, Leo, to how you're speaking to yourself about it, too. There's been a lot. I think it was Aries, Taurus, maybe even Scorpio's reading. A lot around focus of the self, and I don't know how to put it, just like a lot of self-care kind of energy through this Mercury retrograde period. So for Leo, please, Spirit, in this regard. Prayers. Focus. Okay, you know, here's the thing, Leo. What you put your attention into is where you're going to go, right? If you think that you are capable, and this is why I was saying a second ago what I was saying, if you believe that you can do it, you can. If you walk into anything, and I don't care if it's a job, a partnership, a creative goal in mind, whatever it might be, if you walk into something going, well, I know, you know, Susie, and Susie tried that and it didn't work for her. So I doubt that it's going to work for me, but I'm going to give it a try. Your perception about how things work out is playing a very large role on the kind of success that you're having. So again, it doesn't have to be food. Maybe it's a job. You know, when you started a new job, maybe you were like gung-ho, ready to roll, and it too has lost its flair. There's something here for you, Leo, that goes, I was really interested in this, but somehow, like, I got sidetracked. Somehow I lost my drive for something. Somehow my focus got, like, discombobulated, and I don't know where I'm going with that anymore. This is really about being very focused, being very self-disciplined, being very aware of what it was what was it that was the turning point for you that put your focus elsewhere, or made you make changes, or you did make changes that makes you feel unstable. Because I do think you were making some really significant progress on something, and probably had been for, Spirit is saying, the last 12 months. So maybe you had a year in and thought, you know, pull a me and go, I can have a Wendy's fry, it's fine. And then you, again, eat it, you feel like shit. 11:11 on the clock. This is just a temporary setback. It's the need to get your mind right. Yeah. See, they're bringing up 2016, and there comes the devil. The 10 of Cups and the devil. It's a false sense of fulfillment there, Leo. And it's like, you know, I'm seeing this devil more as a temptation, going, this will temporarily make you happy, that instant gratification to whatever this was or is. And you pulling yourself, it's like really having, it's like you get into a certain way of doing or being, and you feel restricted. You know, it's like, oh, gee, I can't have that French fry. But, you know, think about the benefits to not doing it. But then if you go and you indulge in that, you know, maybe that 5 minutes that you spend eating them that taste really good to you, but then you're paying the consequences of whatever this is later for the rest of the day, the next 3 weeks. You get on the scale in 3 days and you've gained 3 pounds, you know, whatever. 3s apparently might be a thing too. But this is really understanding the long-term dedication to the things that are important to you and what it is that makes you feel better, right? Instant gratification, the devil in the 10 of Cups, is like, here, you know, it's a short-term, feel good, overindulgent kind of energy, and you needing this obedience and forbidden to cut that out, right? I feel like this message is, yeah, see, and look, Cancer season may have been a time in which you know, fucked up, if you will. 9 of Swords, you know, you're worried about the implications, again, of going, you know, this, I don't know why I did what I did. Some of you, it could be, Spirit's bringing up a lot of different things, and again, it's going to be lots of different things for all of you. So maybe you were overspending for a little while. Maybe you know, decided, you know, at the beginning of the year you weren't going to drink alcohol at all anymore, and you went out one weekend and you got the first one down and they tasted pretty good, and you kept going, and now you've got a 3-day hangover, you know, whatever it might be. But this is really Spirit just going, you stopped these things, you stopped this situation for a reason. And it's like recognizing the difference between instant gratification and the long-term satisfaction of the goals that you have in mind, okay? So be mindful. Cucumbers, I can taste cucumbers right now, so I don't know what that's about. 8 of Swords, forbidden, 8 of Swords coming out with that forbidden, that's a self-imprisonment. That's a you know, that's a restriction. And I feel like you're seeing this from both sides, Leo, in the sense that, again, I told you, like, angry with yourself, some internal conflict going, I could, should I, would I, could I. It's like tempting fate here, Leo. I will say this, for some of you, this is going to be on a, pardon my fidgeting, this is going to be on a bigger scale with some other things. So this could even be with partnerships, right? Say you let go of a toxic relationship, and the next thing you know, they call you, and you're right back into it, right? And it's like, shit, like, I knew better. Like, I had a week of my instant emotions needing to feel good took over, and a week later you wake up beside him and you're like, what am I doing here? Like, what what the hell was I thinking last week? Was I stupid? You know, it's shit like that. And I really do feel like there's a lot of negative self-talk. Like, I've used the word stupid, I think, twice now in this reading, which is very strange of me. Spirit, how do you expect yourself to heal from anything if you're going to put yourself down? There you go. You know, and I think this Knight of Swords is you being angry with yourself, you being frustrated with yourself, you going back and forth in mental conflict on why you've done the things that you've done, and then feeling bad for it. You know, when we're changing cycles in our lives, Leo, it's not uncommon to kind of have that battle, right? That ego tries to kick in, take control, and it whips us. As the Spirit said about healing, with the Success card, Temperance comes out. There's your card of alchemization. There's your card of healing. There's Archangel Michael coming in to heal that heart space of any void that you thought you were dealing with, or you are dealing with, right? It's helping you to release anything. There's a space of enlightenment, and I think that this enlightenment for you, again, is understanding the why you allow those things to pull you back in. Because I'm going to tell you, the age of 42 could have been specific for you. 41, 42, 39. I'm going to tell you, if you're in your blah, 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 blah. If you are in your later 30s and early 40s, you could be at a point right now where you are redefining your life and how you live. You know, and I think at that age too, I think we're starting to live our best lives because we have experience, right? But at the same time, that experience, some of you are kind of stepping into this experience with a new set of perspective. You've healed some things. You realize when we were, again, young and dumb, right? Like, we're all young and dumb at one point. We have to learn. Look, there you are. Aries Emperor taking control. That you start to understand why things have to change, whether it's for your mind, your body, your soul, that we've matured to a certain point. We've learned some valuable lessons. I think at that point, sometimes our age begins to kind of catch up to us, right? Not in a negative way, but just we're like, oh, I get up in the morning, this ankle cracks now, where it didn't do that before. We're starting to realize what our bodies need, what our mind needs, what our heart needs, our emotions. And I think this is a big part of this, Leo, for you, is understanding why these things no longer work for you. You know, maybe you're a mom and, you know, you used to party and live it up before you had your kids. In the last 18 years, you've done, you know, the Betty Crocker kind of thing, right? You mommed it up, and then, oh, I'm free to go do what I want to do, and you go out and you have a great time out, but then the next day you're just worn out, right? It's like, shit, I don't know if I can keep doing this like this. I didn't used to feel this way 20 years ago. You just realize how much different you are, how much different your body is, how much different your mind is. You know, again, the lessons that you've learned along the way. And you want to invest in something that makes you feel good with this success. So again, Leo, I don't even feel like I need to go much further with this. I think it would be a massive waste of time. Anything else here? King of Swords, Six of Wands, with that Success and Temperance, Three of Cups, celebration. Look, whatever little mini tower moment you had, it's done. The Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, the Death card, and the Three of Cups. Like, congratulate yourself on a job well done, even if you took a back step for a hot second. Get back on the saddle. Like, understand your why and get back on the saddle. Like, you know, this is about self-awareness. Self-awareness 101, Leo. Any advice for Leo? I think I've given you, and addiction happens to be sitting on the very bottom. I'm going to say this too. For anybody who is dealing with drug, alcohol, addictions, you know, addictions, gambling, and we could go on and list all kinds of stuff. Guys, if you did have a relapse, whether it was a relapse of judgment, a relapse of just feeling like you were losing your mind, there are so many support systems out there available to you. And I've seen what addiction does firsthand, you know, and reach out, because someone's going to love you and support you through that moment. Get the help that you need. And I'm just going to say, side note, and I was just had a conversation this morning about this. understand with drug addiction, we have these programs that are, 72-hour holds, 1-week stays, 10-day stays, 30-day stays, 60-day stays. I don't think that I don't know that there's anybody in this world, and that's a shame to say, that has not been impacted by some sort of addiction issue, whether it was someone you knew, it was a friend, a spouse, whatever it might be, your kids, unfortunately. I think there needs to be a much greater awareness to the fact that that addiction got started in like a second, right? Depending on what it was. Those addictions take years to heal. When we get caught in that cycle, it just destroys our brain. It triggers the way our brain thinks and our receptors, right? That's why they give like Suboxone and shit, right? To block the receptors for that high, stop that high from happening. But the reality of it is that it takes 2 years. 2 years to let that part of the brain heal. And I'm not saying this out of some news article, and I'm not saying this from my own thought process. This is something that I have read and researched and worked with professionals, talked to professionals, and there is a ton of research to back this up, but it's something that the mainstream doesn't really want us to know because, let's make this a quick fix, slap a band-aid on it, right? And that's not the way this works. Plain and simply, that 2 years to allow the brain to heal from any addiction, and it doesn't matter if it's drugs or alcohol or whatever addiction, and then to be able to incorporate ourselves back into society under the rules and regulations of being functional and productive members of society by work, our children, our families. Like, it is a massive, massive undertaking that overnight stays, 30-day stays do not heal effectively. It's a great place to start, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Now, I'm not discouraging anybody from getting those kinds of means of help, but understand when you start that journey, you've got a long road ahead of you, and you need to be patient with yourself, and you're going to have to reach out for supportive services for a long time. Okay, so I don't know. I felt the need to say those things to you guys. So maybe, if you're dealing with somebody who struggles with those things, you know how to be of assistance to them now, or understand part of the process with that person now. The dragonfly and the phoenix, Leo. Lighthearted and adapt, finding out and change, things coming to light and healing. Phoenix, new phase and rekindle, renew and growth, changed mind and rising from the ashes. Forgive yourself, Leo, for whatever this is, however you're feeling, whyever you're feeling that way, and know that you're able to move on and move forward. Again, check your triggers. What triggers you to respond that way? This, I'm going to tell you, I always say this, right? Like, go back and look at where that toxic trait started. Who did you learn that from? Because that's where the healing needs to begin too. So Leo, I really just don't think that there's much else to say to this reading. I'll check back with you guys in about 2 weeks or so. I hope this was helpful. Strange, different reading compared to normal. But I hope that it was useful, helpful, insightful, provided some clarity, some insight, and positive, like, keep going. 3 of Cups, keep going. Success. Look at this. Success and the 6 of Wands. I love that for you. Stay focused. Get back on the horse. All right. Sending you guys so much love. Personal reads are open and available for the upcoming time frame here in August. So get a hold of me. Info in the description box below, about section of the page. Sending you all so much love. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.